Hey there, YouTubers! Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to another chemistry video. Today is another video on my series on the periodic table of elements. Today's section goes by many names. You may know it as the ordinary metals, the post-transition metals, or the staircase metals. No matter what, first we'll go over why they're in this section, then their general characteristics, and finally talk about each one individually. P orbitals. I don't know what that was. I don't want to know what that was. Okay, so these elements are in this section, because they're trying to fill their p orbitals. If you don't know what a p orbital is, I recommend you watch the first part of the series where I go over that. In the meantime, these elements have classic amounts of valence electrons, 3, 4, and 5. If you do count this bottom row here, you could potentially say they have 6, not 16, 6 valence electrons. But because they don't last long enough, because their half-life's too short, we don't even know if they count as metals, except for fluorvium. I probably butchered that. So I was going to rise from the bottom like a phoenix rising from ashes, but I realized something about my table. This specific one is, it says polonium is an ordinary metal. It's wrong. Literally everything I've ever read says polonium is not an ordinary metal. So I'm going to keep treating it as a metalloid, and we're going to continue on with today. Thank you. Anyway, each of these elements are very similar to each other. I'd like to say they're all soft, except bismuth is actually quite brittle, and aluminum is probably the least softest after that, but it's still quite soft compared to, like, say, iron or cobalt. So yeah, excluding those, they're all relatively soft. Thallium is similar to sodium in that can be cut with a knife, as can indium, but you need a little more work in my opinion. Whatever. Anyways, speaking of thallium, I have every single element in this section that has a relatively stable half-life, excluding thallium. Thallium reacts with air quite easily and needs to be stored in a mineral oil, just like sodium or the other alkaline metals. But that's not why I can't get any. Thallium is also extremely toxic, and just like most heavy metals. And at one point, it was used as a very popular poison. And this was after a method for arsenic was discovered, and how you could find it in the human body, and they had that method down to basically perfect. So that's why you can't get thallium. The periodic table of elements. Breathtaking. Oh, hi there. I didn't know you were there. What's that? You're wondering how I know all of this information? I'm flattered. Well, I have my online sources as per the usual. They're in the description. However, I do have a book I get most of the information from. That book is The Elements, a visual exploration of every known atom in the universe by Theodore Gray. It's an absolutely wonderful read if you're interested in the elements or chemistry, or it's just a great read in general. I read it when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. Speaking of toxic metals, lead is another post-transition metal that is toxic. Interesting thing about collecting is it's not as cheap as you'd think. I figured it'd be super cheap. I figured you could buy it by the bucketfuls. But unfortunately, it's not as cheap as I would have liked it to be, and I couldn't get ingots worth of it. Lead in ancient times was used in pipes for many reasons. For one thing, lead has a low melting point, making it great for melting over a wood fire and easily patching holes in pipes. Second, it's soft and can easily be hammered into sheets and then rolled into pipes. You see where I'm going here. these pipes would slowly kill you because of lead poisoning. Because of this reason, lead is only used in fishing weights and bullets in the modern era. It can also be used, it's also used in those vests that the dentists give you right before they hide behind a wall to give you an x-ray. Lead was also used in white paint and in toys, but for obvious reasons that doesn't happen anymore. Interestingly enough, lead salts taste sweet, and so lead paint tasted sweet, and so children in schools would often eat the paint right off the wall. Wow. You know, I should have brought a bottle of Pepto-Bismol because today we're going to talk about bismuth. Bismuth is not toxic, unlike thallium and lead and polonium. Bismuth is actually quite useful and is the active ingredient in Pepto-Bismol. In rare cases, if you consume too many bismuth salts, your gums will turn black. Bismuth is technically radioactive. You may ask, how could something radioactive be safe to consume? Well, bismuth has a half-life of 10 to the 19th years. That's longer than the universe has existed. So, for all intents and purposes, bismuth is completely stable. Bismuth is very easy and fun to collect. I say that because you can get it in bulk very cheaply. Last time I checked, on Amazon, you can get 8 pounds of it for $60. That's incredibly cheap. However, if you want a really nice specimen, I recommend you buy some of that and melt it down and try to make bismuth crystals, or you can buy bismuth crystals. Bismuth crystals look like little squares that are rainbow colored. That rainbow coloring comes from the different oxides that form as the bismuth cools from liquid to solid. They're absolutely spectacular. I love bismuth. Very similarly to Cody, I love indium. Indium is quite possibly one of my favorite elements of all time. Unfortunately, it's not as easy to collect as bismuth, but it's still very interesting. I would like to own a large amount of indium someday, but alas, I can't afford it. Funny thing about indium is the softest and safe element on the table. It's so soft that you can bite it with your teeth and chew on it. Cody's lab has a video of him chewing indium. Now, I've thought about biting my own indium myself, but I like my samples too much to do that. So here's Cody.
Actually take a bite out of. Just like that.
So I didn't ask Cody this time if I could use his footage, unlike last time with the cesium. But considering how it went last time, I figured he'd be completely okay with it. I'm sure if he has a problem, he or somebody will let me know. But I'm sure he'll never see this video. But anyway, indium at one point was extremely expensive and was never used for anything. But that is not the case in the modern era. Now it's not really too expensive and is super useful. Its oxides are transparent and conduct electricity. This makes indium super useful in LCD screens. This gives indium a large demand that unfortunately raises its price. This is probably really awkward for you, but I don't care. Tin is an interesting element, and it has lots of uses, or used to have lots of uses, from foil to the thin lining inside steel cans, and it was also put on corrugated steel panels. However, because tin has increased in price in the modern era, tin is no longer used as much. Instead, the industry uses zinc, those steel panels, and uses aluminum foil instead of tin foil. This zinc coating they put on the steel panels is called galvanization. However, because the galvanization causes the zinc to become, well, toxic, because it likes to leach into things, you can't use that when working with food. So tin is still used in the coating of tin cans, but tin cans aren't made of tin, they're made of steel. So, yeah, gallium. What a What a clickbait thing that was back in the day. It came right after the fidget spinners, or it came during that, kind of before, maybe. I don't know. I just remember a bunch of YouTubers play with it because it is almost liquid at room temperature. And that's why it became super popular on YouTube, because YouTubers would play with it and they'd have fun. So here I am, finally doing it, unfortunately. However, I don't plan to play with it like the YouTubers. I just plan to kind of melt it and hope things go well. So here's that. So what is gallium used for? Well, as a semiconductor. That's about it. Semiconductors are used in electronics. You didn't already know that. However, gallium isn't as useful as silicon, which is a better semiconductor, but still has specific use cases. I don't know what direction to come from, so I'm just gonna spin. Finally, the lightest and the most useful of all the elements on this section. Aluminium.
It's pronounced aluminum.
Screw you, Kyle. Aluminum is used in countless applications, from soda cans to knee implants to aluminum foil and airplanes. It has these uses because it's relatively unreactive and light. However, as you probably know, gallium and aluminum have an interesting reaction. Gallium will begin to break down the solid aluminum and turn it into a gallium-aluminum amalgam. However, aluminum has another interesting reaction if you mix it with red iron oxide. And if you mix that with aluminum powder, you get thermite. When enough energy is added, the aluminum and the iron trade oxygen atoms, releasing a lot of energy in that process, causing more of it to react. This results in molten iron being created. So here you go, the big finale to this video. Yes!
That pot. I don't know how.
I used flint and steel.
Oh, it spilled over a little bit.
I figured.
That pot just cracked.
Molten iron. Should.
That was cool.
So how'd you light your thermite? Flint and
Flint and
steel.
steel.
I don't have a blowtorch.
Come look.
It's molten. Dude, that's bright.
Oh, it's so warm.
It is. Even the pot underneath now.
That's so cool.
Here, take the
camera.
take the flint and steel.
Bring the camera over there.
I'm working on it.
You start the harden.
Molten iron, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that wasn't as long or as in-depth as I was wanting it to be, but I get my points across anyway. Anyway, join me in 2 weeks for the Metalloids. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New videos every other Friday, 2 p.m. Central Time. And good night. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Oh, you're still here? I thought I told you to go home. Oh, you want more? I'm flattered. Check out the playlist. If you want exclusive content, check out my Instagram, Dr_sheep_YouTube. That's all lowercase. If you want to help the earth, subscribe. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plant 10 trees. If you feel that's too small, then check out my channel chart where I lay out even bigger goals. Finally, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time. Bye.